You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? What's driving me crazy is that anyone, let alone many people, dare claim that Joe Biden won last night's debate. I watched that debate. You probably watched that debate if you're watching this show. If you're interested in this show, that means you're probably interested in politics and you watched that debate, as did many millions of Americans. The fact is, by the way, that Fox News led in the ratings last night. That's a good sign for the president. The fact also is that the ratings were down for this debate compared to this debate 4 years ago in 2016. But I don't know how anybody watching this, watching the things that Joe Biden said, cannot say that Donald Trump won the debate. He did, because Joe Biden said things that will be the end of America. And I think most Americans, even those who loathe the president personally, do not like his behavior. They know that the things Joe Biden said are untenable for America. So let's get to the one that's the main thing that I think no American can support, unless you're one of these crazy people like AOC or one of these super wealthy people, or you're crazy and super wealthy, which there are a few of those, but not enough to make the mainstream, to comprise the mainstream of the electorate. So the biggest story of the debate last night was that Joe Biden said that he wants America to go carbon free by the year 2025. That's less than 5 years from now. We're in the end of 2020, and he wants America to be carbon free by 2025. You know what? Those of you in North Dakota, you might as well turn the lights out and leave, because that will be the end of North Dakota. And not just North Dakota, but Pennsylvania, Ohio, many other states. And I'll get into that more, but watch this clip where he said it.
Other industries to transition to get to ultimately a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money in doing it. But it's a transition to that.
We can't do that. We won't do that. That's not going to happen by 2025 or even 2035, which apparently the Biden campaign has now claimed that he really meant. Whatever year he meant, it's not going to happen. The fact is that you cannot change these industries that have dominated America for decades. You cannot change them overnight. You can't change them in 5 years. You can't change them in 10 years. And that's assuming you can change them at all, that you can really capture these emissions that he claims. And we'll get more into that. But first, I want you to see, we've talked about this on the show before. Joe Biden said there that he was for fracking once he captures the emissions. But he has said repeatedly that he is against fracking. And I want you to watch this from last night.
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
no new fracking. You got to transition away from it. Look, you're going to ban fracking all across America right now, right?
I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to too. I'd love to make sure we can't use any oil or gas, period. Look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
We aren't using little fossil fuels.
I'll tell you something. If that man is elected president, America is going to be in a lot of fracking trouble, I'll tell you. And I don't mean it in the way the word fracking means. We are going to be in big trouble, and North Dakota will especially be in big trouble. Listen, we know that North Dakota, its two top industries are oil and agriculture, both of which will be driven out of business if Joe Biden has his end of emissions by 2025 or whenever it is. North Dakota's oil industry can just kiss itself goodbye. We're the #2 producer of oil in the country, more than many other countries in the world if North Dakota were a country. We're only behind Texas, so both Texas and North Dakota will be out of business. Not only that, but North Dakota does a lot of fracking, so goodbye to that too. And North Dakota is involved in the coal industry, so goodbye to that. Millions of jobs, not just jobs of North Dakotans that live here and work in those fields, but also many people from out of state who come to North Dakota during the week and they leave on the weekends. Those people inject millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into the North Dakota economy. They stay at hotels and apartments in North Dakota. They eat at restaurants in North Dakota. They shop at supermarkets and convenience stores in North Dakota. They shop for supplies in North Dakota. They buy clothing and necessities in North Dakota. They buy toiletries in North Dakota. They buy gas in North Dakota. They need their autos repaired in North Dakota. All of those things, say goodbye to them. If Joe Biden gets his way, if he gets elected, this will be a disaster. And not only that, agriculture, the farmers, what do they use for a lot of their equipment, their tractors and other machinery? Oil, gas. That's what they run on. They run on gas. A lot of things on the farm run on the oil industry. Forget about that. And there are farms, as we know, all over America. Not just in North Dakota. There's farming in every single state. Every single state. Probably no farming in Washington, D.C. But every state has farming. And that is going to be out of business because of Joe Biden. There are many, many other industries that are just going to be kaput. I mean, does he want the whole world taking Uber and Lyft? By the way, they won't be able to because Uber and Lyft's prices will go way sky high because somebody's going to pay for that raise in gas, that extra several dollars per gallon you're going to pay because of Joe Biden. This is going to be a disaster. And this should be the headline all over America. And if we had a mainstream media that was even an iota objective, this story would be huge and Joe Biden would be defeated. Even if 50-something million Americans have already voted, the rest of them would vote against him. But it's not the top news story or even the bottom news story on most newscasts. Why? Because they are in the tank for Joe Biden. They want him to win. They don't care what he says. He could say, Hitler is my stepbrother and I support all of his policies and those of the Third Reich. And they would not put that on the news, just like they're silencing the Hunter Biden story. And we will get to that in a second. But I did think that the moderator was much fairer than we expected. And I think there's a reason for that. We inoculated her. The president talked about how she was not fair. We, myself and others in the alternative conservative media, we talked about Kristen Welker's family that is in the take for Joe Biden. They financed his campaign and those of the Democrats. They supported Obama's campaign, Hillary's campaign, and so on. And if it weren't for that, she would have probably been a lot more unfair, but she was inoculated. We had her bending over backwards to seem fair, and I think she was for the most part. Good for her. It's about time. The other thing that I think was very important was that mic. You know what? If that mic had not been muted, I think the debate might have been different. But I do think the president was very restrained. He was very disciplined. If only he had done this in the other debate, I think he would be doing a lot better right now. But that's okay. He can still catch up. But I think the muted mic and the respectfulness of people being quiet when the other person was talking, I think it worked. Fortunately, Joe Biden did not screw up as much, but he screwed up enough, as we just said, and we'll get into more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together today and stand united in the fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Case counts are steadily on the rise in the Bismarck-Mandan metro area, so please do your part. Protect yourself and others by wearing a mask when you're not at home. During the pandemic response, scientists have determined wearing a mask is a benefit to you and to those around you. This help keeps others from getting sick and may lessen the severity of illness if you were infected with COVID-19. We're all in this together. So let's get kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep our community strong. Let's show everyone how we come together to keep Bismarck the safe, resilient community we know and love. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus. That's health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of top internet speeds nationwide, top 3 fastest internet providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 fastest fiber provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So getting back to last night's presidential debate, I think that Joe Biden was extremely dark. He was extremely negative, and I don't think the American people want that. I think even those that don't like the president, they want hope. Everybody wants hope. People like to be told that things will get better. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that it's a dark winter that's coming. That may work for Game of Thrones, but it doesn't work for America or Americans. So check out this clip from last night's debate.
This is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter, and he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
So that dark winter is not what people want to hear. Nobody wants to hear that. They do say misery loves company, but I think Americans have been miserable for months. They've heard all of this doom and gloom from the media. They don't want to keep hearing that. They're sick of it, and they know things will get better. They always do. That's the American story. Things have been worse in America before. We might not have had something this bad, although we did have the Spanish flu. But maybe it wasn't as bad. Maybe it was because we didn't have the technology that we have now. But Americans got through it, and we always will. That's what they want to hear. And I think the president gives that hope when he says that we are rounding the corner on the vaccine. And he is right. And all of these companies have their trials, and things are coming through. And wouldn't it be a shame if all this groundwork the president has laid is then for nothing, because Joe Biden shuts down the free market. He clamps down on corporate America. He basically makes companies hide with tax shelters and move out of the country and so on, and makes them less cooperative. Wouldn't that be a shame if he got elected? That would be terrible. And as the president pointed out, he said, you know what? This is not something that I caused. I think we have a clip on that too.
Take full responsibility. It's not my fault that it came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that it came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
And he's absolutely right. And Joe Biden has not laid out his plan or what he would do differently, except he said he wants to shut down America and have a national mask mandate. Other countries have had these national mask mandates, as the president pointed out, and nothing good comes of it because they've all had spikes, as have all the states that have had those restrictions in place. And Joe Biden, as the president has said several times, would not have shut down those flights to China. Nancy Pelosi was defaming Chinese Americans, comparing them to China, and dancing around in Chinatown, as he mentioned. Joe Biden wouldn't have done anything differently. Things would have been worse. He would have gotten started a lot later, and then he would have been a lot more draconian. The whole country would be like the state of Michigan under Gretchen Whitmer's horrible lockdown, or New York's, or California's, and things would not be good. Now, another thing that I think where Trump won on the issue is the economy. He always wins on that because the Democrats are going to shut down the economy. They destroy it every time it's in their hands. So watch this video.
We are on the road to success, but I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
All right, and he's absolutely right. I mean, God help us, America. Our economy is bad enough as it is, but jobs are coming back. Things are coming back, and we would get back to where we were before COVID if we keep the right person in place. But if Joe Biden gets elected, he's right. We are going to have a depression. That, or we're going to have a lot of inflation, and it's just we're at least going to have a recession. Things will not be good. Now, another issue, and to me, this was the second biggest issue of the night and should have been all over the news, but hasn't been, and that is President Trump versus Joe Biden on Hunter Biden and the Chinese. So check out this video clip.
Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing.
Who said he did that impeccably? Who? He didn't mention anybody, because there is nobody that says that, except maybe the people running his campaign, and even they do not believe it. Listen, last night there was a guest sitting in the audience. You remember 4 years ago, the Trump campaign brought all the women that Bill Clinton attacked, raped, assaulted, and so on. Well, this time around, the Trump campaign brought Tony Bobulinski. Who is Tony Bobulinski? I'll tell you. He was Hunter Biden's partner in all of this Burisma stuff. And there are a number of emails. We know these emails are real now. We know they're not fake, and yet the New York Post's Twitter account still shut down by these tech giants that are silencing it. So we know the emails are real. We know the Senate is investigating the emails. We know the FBI's been investigating the emails since December of 2019. So almost a year. We know a grand jury is looking at this. Tony Bobulinski says that, in fact, the Bidens were very, very secretive about this. In fact, Jim Biden, the president's brother, is in on this. So he's like a Roger Clinton or like a Billy Carter. Yeah, if you like them, you'll love Jim Biden. So Jim Biden said it was very, very important to keep this all a secret, to keep Joe Biden's involvement in this a secret. And in the emails, Tony Bobulinski and Hunter Biden are talking about how the big guy gets 10% of everything. Now, who is the big guy? Is it Joe Biden? Nobody asked last night, but maybe Donald Trump should have brought that up. That's the only thing I think he should have really concentrated on this more and explained it to the American people. Because since this story's been silenced, unless you're listening to conservative media, you're really not going to know the details or what this is all about. That a vice president of the United States was helping make money for his son and using U.S. policy as the quid pro quo for that. That can never happen. That is treasonous, actually. So, did Joe Biden get 10% of the money? Joe Biden, and we'll talk about this after the break, Joe Biden talked about his taxes, and I'll tell you why that is not a good response. But I'll tell you something, in The Godfather, even Don Corleone, the head of the mob in the movie, let his sons, Sonny and Michael, keep all the profits of their illegal behavior. So Joe Biden is even worse than Don Corleone because he gets 10%, apparently, if he's the big guy. We'll talk a little bit more about this and wrap it up after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
I just went in for a regular mammogram and I found out that I had a little tumor.
Through the exam and the biopsy, it was determined that I had cancer.
I got a call from one of my doctors that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
After 5 years, they found a local reoccurrence.
The first thing you hear when you're told you have a cancer, it's a little daunting because you don't know where to go with it.
Since 1999, in a partnership between CHI St. Alexius Health and Sanford Health Bismarck, the Bismarck Cancer Center has provided the most advanced radiation therapies and holistic support services for cancer patients and their loved ones for 20 years.
I've been at the Bismarck Cancer Center since it started. I actually was in the basement of Med Center 1 before, when we had old machines and old equipment. And thankfully, the two hospitals at the time, St. Alexius and Med Center 1, joined forces to create the Bismarck Cancer Center.
I walk in the door, I get nothing but hugs, and I was marveled at them. I mean, I thought it was the best place in the world.
The staff is unbelievably compassionate, and they explain everything to you.
Everybody's genuinely concerned about your well-being, and the level of care is just top-notch. The Cancer Center just does such an amazing job of helping people.
To me and my family, the Cancer Center means life. It's given me the ability to live out my life with my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren.
Because of them, I'm 2 years out, get to move on with my life, make a difference now for other people.
I would recommend this center because the minute you walk through that door, they've got your back.
This center means so much to me and to the people that are in this building, and we just want to keep giving it back to the community and providing for them what they need.
I'm Katie. I've been cancer-free for 2 years.
I'm Steve, and I've been cancer-free for 4 years.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
10 years.
11 years.
15 years.
My name is Lainey, and I've been cancer-free for 18 years.
Bismarck Cancer Center, your partner against cancer for 20 years.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So wrapping up last night's debate, I just want you to watch this video where the president was called about his taxes. Watch this video.
Get treated worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made a deal, it was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your tax.
And we have covered this on this show. I think it was $73 million that the president actually did pay that the IRS has. And they won't give it back, even though he's due a refund. So when people say he only paid $750 one year and he didn't pay taxes 2 years, and then he paid very little the previous several years, that's just a lie, because he did prepay. That's actually true, and this has been documented by the mainstream liberal media that don't like him. They've even admitted. So there's that. And then when he talked about, by the way, Joe Biden, about Hunter Biden's emails and about all the money that Joe Biden made, Joe Biden brought up his taxes. And he said, well, I've released my taxes. Why don't you release yours? And that's how that response came up. But Joe Biden said, look at my taxes. There is no foreign money in there. Well, you know what? I looked at Joe Biden's tax forms. You cannot tell where that money comes from. It is very cryptic. And that's how income tax forms that are released to the public typically are. We don't know where his money came from. And also, as we all know, he's not going to report money that he got through ill-gotten gains. It's probably in a Swiss bank account somewhere, or the Cayman Islands, or maybe it was cash. We don't know. So to say, oh, I released my income taxes, that does not answer the question. Not even close. Not at all. Now, one thing I wish the president would have mentioned last night, because it was basically a done deal, was the big Sudan-Israel peace treaty. Because the president, it was supposed to be a foreign policy debate last night, but they changed the subject matter. And he could have still brought it up. The president orchestrated yet another peace deal between Israel and a Muslim country, Sudan. Sudan, which used to hide terrorists that have bombed embassies and hijacked planes, and also hijacked Israeli planes, tried to anyway. And now they have peace. This is tremendous. You didn't see this under any Democrat president. You will not see this under Joe Biden. I wish he would have talked about that. But listen, he cannot cover everything. But that is historic. It is tremendous, and I applaud the president. That should have been big news. It's not all over the news, again, because it's President Trump. If Joe Biden had done this, or a President Hillary had done this, and they wouldn't have, they would be all over the news. They would be getting kudos. They'd be nominated and win a Nobel Prize, period. Now, so that's my debate reaction from last night. I want you to hear some comments and see this tweet that Joe Biden sent out, and these comments he made on a podcast of Brené Brown. If you're not familiar with her, she's been profiled on 60 Minutes. She's one of these new age nut jobs. She has a very popular podcast. She is very liberal. She's kind of crazy, but unfortunately there are a lot of crazies in America who like crazy. So check out these comments he made.
America was an idea. An idea. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We've never lived up to it, but we've never walked away from it before. And I just think we have to be more honest and let our kids know, as we raise them, what actually did happen. Acknowledge our mistakes so we don't repeat them.
What? So he's saying America's a bad country. Look at all these things, bad things we did. Let's teach our children. I have news for Joe Biden. That's what's going on right now. That's why we have people rioting in the streets who are white liberals from the suburbs, because they've been taught from the cradle to hate America. So what he is advocating, what he's saying is we're not a good country and we need to teach our kids how bad we are and all the wrongs we've done. They're being taught that, and it's a disaster. That's why the president started the 1776 Project, because he's tired of this 1619 Project from the New York Post about how America's a bad country, we're the slavers of the world, which is not true. In fact, at that time, everybody had slaves. We were one of the first countries to end slavery. There are countries today, Muslim countries, who still enslave Black Africans today. And America is a great country. We are a light unto the world. We have rescued people all over the world. We have risked American soldiers' lives, American military servicemen's lives, to rescue people that are not Americans, to save people that are anti-American. We are a great country. What he is advocating for, we've already done. It's terrible. It's anti-American, and it has to stop. And any president that says these kinds of things, any candidate that says these kinds of things, should not be president, period. And we'll see more of this hate America stuff if he gets elected. You know that, and I know that. All right, so there's that. Now, I have said all along that I believe one of the reasons the president is behind, if you believe the polls, and I'm not sure I do, but the reason he should be way ahead and the reason he isn't, besides the negative media coverage, is his own behavior. Sometimes he makes it very difficult to defend him. Some of his tweets, a lot of the braggadocio, we knew he was like this before, but a lot of people, myself included, expected him to be a little bit more presidential once he got in there. We knew we were electing a street fighter, but street fighters can still be street fighters and they can be presidential. A lot of people don't like this. This has turned a lot of people off, particularly whites, particularly white women, suburban types, educated. And that's where he's losing. He's gaining in blacks and Hispanics. He's losing among these people from where he was before. So I said, and I've said this on this show several times, that I wish somebody would make an ad showing a suburban white couple or women saying, you know what, I can't stand the president personally. I don't like him. I don't like the way he behaves. But we're not voting from his congeniality. This isn't about a marriage proposal. This is about a president, and I like his policies. And you know what? You go to the ballot box and it's a secret. Well, guess what? Somebody made this ad. Check this out. This is great.
Did you see Trump's latest tweet? He needs to put that phone down.
Oh, tell me about it. He drives me crazy with his ridiculous tweets.
Exactly. I have to say, though, all this looting and rioting really scares me.
And defund the police? Oh, please. That's just crazy.
I don't like the things Trump tweets, but I think he's going to be way better at getting the economy going and making sure people are safe.
I just want the country to get back to the way it was when so many Americans still had a job.
Yeah, and there wasn't all this anger and violence.
I can't tell if Biden likes the protesters or if he thinks all this craziness will help him get elected.
You know, we can't let our friends know, but I am going to vote for Trump.
Me too, but pinky swear we won't tell anyone.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear. That is a great ad. Fabulous. Bravo. They should have had that ad all over TV. All over. That is a great ad, and there's no good response to it from the Biden side. Where has that ad been? All right, when we come back, we will talk about some more media and sports organizations in the tank for Biden. And it's Friday. No Filter movie reviews coming up after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband Internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So it used to be, and we've said this on the show before, that corporations, sports teams, and so on stayed out of politics. They didn't want to offend half the audience. It's a good business decision not to take sides. Well, apparently not anymore. Now they don't care. They are out in the open and in the tank. So I'll tell you, first it's Time Magazine. Time Magazine has a woke cover for the first time ever in its history. They have changed the Time Magazine masthead from Time to Vote. And look at that woman on the cover. You think she's voting for Donald Trump? Think again. That's a hippie. That's a modern day hippie, hipster type of woman. Listen, that's why they have that. You think everyone telling people to vote is for the president? No way. Because Republicans don't need to tell people to vote. Republicans vote. The reason we have early voting, the reason we have same-day registration in many states, the same reason we have all of these liberal things going on in terms of letting people's signatures not match, people not bringing IDs to the polls, and this is because they want more people to vote who are not educated, who are not dedicated to going to the polls to get the right people in office. They want liberals to vote. They want irresponsible people who weren't thinking about it to go out and vote for who they say, Joe Biden. So thank you, Time Magazine, but no thanks. One great thing about Time is nobody reads it anymore. Nobody cares. Maybe back in the olden days when people still bought magazines, nobody buys those anymore. And Time's website, not very popular. Among mainstream media sources, it's kind of on the low end. They don't get a lot of traffic compared to other sources. So bye-bye, Time. You're out of time. And then there is a WNBA team. Now, it's the WNBA championship team, the Seattle Storm, that has openly endorsed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And they've told people to go out and vote for the Biden-Harris ticket. You know what? Just shut up and play basketball, or in your case, non-basketball. As I have said on this show before, I am a fan of basketball. Sometimes I prefer my football. But this is not real basketball. I know if your daughter or your sister or your niece plays basketball, you want to believe that one day they can be a WNBA player and earn money. Please. This is so fake. It's subsidized. Nobody watches it. Nobody cares about women's basketball. Let's be honest. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Nobody watches it. Nobody cares. If they did, the WNBA ratings would be sky high, and they aren't. Also, WNBA tickets would be very popular. They aren't, even before COVID. And WNBA players would be making what NBA players are making. They don't, because nobody cares. You know what? In pro sports, there is a dynamic. Men want to be them and women want to date them. Euphemism. All right? You don't have that dynamic in the WNBA except for maybe a small audience of people, of a select crowd, and you can't build a sports league on them. This is heavily subsidized by the NBA. Who cares who they're voting for? Does anybody really care that the Seattle Storm is for Biden Harris? Please. And finally, in the sports media realm, in the tank for Joe Biden, there's LeBron James. All right, so you've heard about how all these tech giants have their fact-checking systems in place. They want to silence anything conservative. Guess who's wanting to do that too? Who now is your new fact checker? LeBron James. So he started this new organization called Under Review, and they're going to play gatekeeper for Black American voters because apparently LeBron James, a proud high school graduate, I think he graduated from high school, I'm not sure. He is now a scholar on what's true and what isn't true, and he apparently believes that black voters are too stupid to decide for themselves. So he's going to decide for them. You know why he's doing this? Because President Trump is more and more popular with black voters. You see these rallies. There are more and more black faces at those Trump rallies, and this is bothering the Biden camp to no end because President Trump is doing better in Black America than he did with that group against Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden is not doing as well as Hillary Clinton did in that group. So last week, Twitter went along with this, and last week Twitter suspended accounts claiming to be black Trump supporters for violating its rules on spam and platform manipulation. Oh, please. You know what? When you send out something pro-Trump, they silence you, they say you're violating rules, they suspend you, or they kick you off completely. That happened to me. It's happening to others. We don't need Twitter to do this, and we don't need LeBron James to decide for anybody, black or white, what is true and what is not. I'll give you a tip, America and North Dakota, and anybody else that's watching. If you let somebody else be your gatekeeper, your fact checker, then you're a moron. You're incredibly lazy or incredibly stupid, or both. Don't let anybody decide for you. Do your own homework. Think for yourself. Don't let LeBron James think for you. And one other thing about him, I said he's a proud high school graduate. That's not to say that I look down on anybody who doesn't have a college degree. I don't. In fact, many people who have college degrees are idiots. They just went to Keggers for 4 years. And there are many people who didn't even graduate from high school who are brilliant, who are self-educated. I'm not talking about them. LeBron James does not fit in that latter category. He does fit in the category of morons who went to Keggers, even if he didn't go to those Keggers, doesn't have a college degree. You know what? He's a great basketball player, and that is it. All right, so it is Friday, and it's time for movie reviews. I'm going to try and get through these as quickly as I can. We may need to take a break, but the first new movie that's out this weekend is on Amazon Prime. It is Borat's subsequent movie film. All right, it's the sequel. It's really Borat 2. Now, the studio told me you're not allowed to say it's Borat 2, so I'm saying it's Borat 2, and it's incredibly disgusting. It is incredibly depraved. It's so stupid. It's slow and boring. And you know the drill. You know what Sacha Baron Cohen does. He tries to pretend he's a comedian and an actor and a humorist, and he's none. He's none of those three, all right? What he is a left-wing liberal propagandist pretending to be something else. You see Mike Pence there. He dressed up as Trump and went to an event at CPAC, Conservative Political Action Conference. There he is talking to a cowboy. First of all, his whole purpose is to entrap the good American people in middle America, places like North Dakota, to take advantage of their kindness and their generosity, and then to mock them and make them look like idiots, because he's so much smarter than you. He's such a genius. That's what he does. It's gross. It's disgusting. Some of the things he does in this movie, I just can't repeat them. his way of quote unquote pushing the envelope doesn't do anything at all. It's not sophisticated, it's not funny, it's not interesting, it's not entertaining, it's just gross. And we talked yesterday about Rudy Giuliani. He's very clearly putting his shirt back into his pants. The woman invited him to the hotel room. As I said yesterday, he is single, he is divorced. The woman invited him, and then the woman pulls his shirt out of his pants. So he was tucking it back in. The way they're portraying it is just absolutely a lie. They show you a picture. It's not the complete clip of what happened. Don't go see this movie. It's just, it's designed by Sacha Baron Cohen, and that's why it's being released now, to antagonize anybody that is conservative and anybody who's considering voting for the president. Don't let it win. So this movie gets 4 Marxes plus 4 Obamas plus 4 ISIS beheadings. Yeah, this is high quality Gitmo viewing material. All right, when we come back, we'll do some more movies and some things that are going on in North Dakota. More after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
You're looking for secure, private cloud storage, but who can you trust? Big tech companies don't always keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business information away from prying eyes. Your local Beck Lightband Internet Services comes with 50 gigs of Beck Cloud Backup, free. Hometown service with top-tier security to keep your data truly safe and private. Get your 50 gigs free today. Call 701-475-2361 and ask about Beck Cloud Backup.
My name is Rich Shook, and I lost my best friend in a grain bin accident.
Some of the emotional scars that when these incidences happen just resonates throughout the community like dropping a rock in a pond. I guess I'll never forget. At least the last moments we shared. That's why I think this is so important to get out there to people, is people think that it can't happen to you, and it can. The time it would take you to just kiss a loved one and your life is over. I believe it's unacceptable.
This message provided by North Dakota Farmers Union.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So continuing on our movie reviews, I saw Honest Thief, which debuted last week, And I like Liam Neeson as an actor, don't like his politics, but I was not buying into this movie. This guy plays the smartest bank robber on earth. He's robbed $9 million out of banks. Nobody knows who he is. He's got this $9 million stashed away, and suddenly he develops a conscience. He finds a woman he loves. He wants to turn himself in and give back the $9 million. Huh? Who does that? That just doesn't happen. It's not believable. Then he's the smartest bank robber ever, and he tells two young FBI agents about this, tells them where the money is, and gives them the key to the storage unit. What could go wrong? This is the smartest bank robber ever. It's just not believable. And then it just gets worse from there. Now, I like a good caper movie, which this movie kind of is. I like a good action movie, which this movie is. But there's gotta be, it can't be perfect. Yes, there are holes in every movie, but there's gotta be some element of believability, and there just wasn't in this. So I give it a wash. There's no Reagans or no Marxes on my movie rating scale. But I don't recommend it. Don't waste your $10 in 1.5 hours or 2. The other new movie that has been out is Unhinged, and that stars Russell Crowe. I didn't care for this movie either. I do like a good stalker/revenge movie, which is what this movie is. A woman who is getting divorced and is down on her luck and very broke gets stalked by this guy who has road rage, who she cut off in traffic, and he stalks her. It's just not believable, because how does he find her? How does he do a lot of the things that he does? It's just not credible. Yes, he's crazy, and it is credible that crazy people do crazy things, but it's just not believable he was able to do them. Plus, it's kind of incredibly violent and sadistic, some of the stuff he does. It's kind of graphic, so I just can't recommend it. It gets half a marks from me because of that. Now, just 2 movies that are older movies that you could stream this weekend. One of them is called About Time. It takes place in England. It stars Domhnall Gleeson. And I really enjoyed this movie because it's science fiction. It involves basically a superpower, only it's not portrayed that way. Don't you wish you could go back in time and correct one of your mistakes or talk to one of your deceased loved ones? I wish I could do that. And in this movie, the main actor there, played by Domhnall Gleeson, he gets to do that. And his love interest is Rachel McAdams. I just love this movie. It's a for Reagan movie. And then finally, there is Harry Brown. Now, I love Michael Caine. He's a great actor. That's kind of why I like this movie. The movie is sort of like an English take on the movie Death Wish, which is a great movie. And basically, Michael Caine is a retiree. He lives in low rent or low income housing in London. It's been taken over by a lot of immigrants and a lot of thugs, and they terrorize the place. They try to terrorize him, and he fights back. You know what? I love to see the bad guys get it. This was a little violent, but still, it was for a good cause. Michael Caine, he's the best, just a great actor, and even in movies that are not the greatest. I give this movie 2 Reagans. Harry Brown. It's not for kids, by the way. All right, now, North Dakota, something cool. I love this story. A Bismarck veteran is traveling the state to honor North Dakota's fallen heroes. And that person, his name is Dwayne Sand. He's a military veteran. He not only played for the University of North Dakota in football, but he served. And we thank you for your service, Dwayne Sand. He came back to North Dakota and founded the North Dakota Heroes Foundation. And his goal is to travel the state, which he has been doing. He's been holding battle cross ceremonies. He's had 11 or 12 of them so far. He enjoys meeting the Gold Star moms. This man is a patriot. If you can help the North Dakota Heroes Foundation, it's a good cause. And I would say, if you can come to one of his battle cross ceremonies, do it. This is a worthy cause. Now, we've been talking a lot about election fraud, stolen ballots, and they keep telling us this isn't going on, but we know that it is. And we've talked about some cases involving North Dakotans, one in North Dakota and one in Florida. Well, now there's a news story. There is stolen mail in Itasca County, and the Itasca County Sheriff is telling people to watch out for stolen mail. Don't leave your flag up in your mailbox if you have outgoing mail. Why? Because people are stealing checks, and who knows what else they're stealing. I would like to know if any ballots in Itasca County have been stolen. I would like to know that. There are all these stories going around in North Dakota that, you know, ballots have been stolen. We talked the other day about one county, I believe it was Cass County, where there were 26,000 ballots that went out, and a lot of these people got the envelopes for ballots. There were no ballots in the envelopes. A lot of these people who got them never asked for a ballot. They didn't ask for an absentee ballot. They did not ask for a mail-in ballot. They planned to vote on Election Day. We talked about this couple, the Lorenzes, that had this happen to them. We also talked about a North Dakota couple that lives in Florida during the winter. They're snowbirds. I think we talked about this yesterday or the day before, and we said these people, they requested absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, and guess what? They were told by Florida authorities, no can do, because you know what? Your ballot was already requested, it was mailed out, and you already voted. But they didn't. They were in North Dakota at the time. So what is going on in Itasca County? What has happened? Where are the ballots? Have any of them been missing? Where are the checks? We will tell you if we hear any updates. And finally, North Dakota, as you may know, is not only the second largest producer of oil in the country, they are the largest producer. We are the largest grower of sunflowers. And you know what? This is a good news. North Dakota's crop, its bounty of sunflowers this year is expected to go up 44%, 2.81 billion pounds. That's good news for everybody that is hurting, who is in farming or anything else. We know this employs a lot of people, helps fund a lot of things. And remember, things are not always as they seem. See you Monday.